What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today we're shooting the third episode of You Said, I Said, The Unspoken. Third. If you want to know more about it, please go to my first video and watch what You Said, I Said, The Unspoken is about. So on today's episode, we are talking about mental health / mental illness. However you want to. So this topic is very, very relevant in the days we are living in now. It is one, if not most, of the most spoken about topics right now, because we see it happening, we are living it. Most of us are even living with it. You understand? So today I have a lovely guest that will let us know more about mental health and educate and destigmatize mental health, so that we realize that mental health is a crisis and we need to deal with it now before it gets worse. So yeah, without any further ado, let's introduce my lovely guest.
Hi everyone, I'm Sisanda Shembe. Today I am being hosted by Nthabeleng on the issue of mental health. So basically today I'll be talking about mental health. What is my view on mental health and what do I see the effect of mental health? We can just see how it affects our youth today. People are committing suicide left, right, center, and I feel like we're not being heard enough. Mental health issues are not being taken seriously. And yeah, so that's basically what I'm going to be talking about today. Thank you.
Hi Susanda, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you.
So today's topic is mental health. And you decided to come forward and say, I will do this.
I'm passionate about it.
Why?
Firstly, let's just start by saying I'm a psychology student. Okay. My main aim is to actually be a clinical psychologist. So I've been just fascinated about the human mind. Mm-hmm. Now, most of all, when there's so much happening and you see students committing suicide, yes, students going through the most in varsity, and you're just like, you know what, I have to help. Mm-hmm. You know, I need to step up, especially in our community. Mental health is not taken seriously at all. Mm-hmm. So if I can help, I will step up. I definitely will.
Amazing. So speaking about students, you know this is affecting, at this point, students the most. So why do you think that is?
How can I put this? It's you know, when you don't have an emotionally strong background, mm-hmm, you know, you have your emotional baggage from home, from mm-hmm, when you were growing up, and then you get to the university space. Mm-hmm. University can be draining in itself. Mm-hmm. And imagine you coming in with this baggage and everything you already have, and then you get into the university space. It adds in more, and then it just gets too much for you. You know, you tend to lose yourself in varsity. Some find themselves, but in most cases, you tend to lose yourself. You tend to get overly pressured. The pressure gets to you, academics, finance, yes, and everything. So it tends to be just too much for the mental health, and they have emotional baggages mm-hmm, in a way, you know, mm-hmm, affects them as well.
Yeah. So as a person, as a student myself, how do I know that I'm unwell? How do I know something is wrong with me?
Funny question actually. Mm-hmm. You never know until you know.
How? Please, to further elaborate.
It's you're always like, okay, for instance, I'm making an example with me. Mm-hmm. I just recently realized we just had like an emotional intelligence mm-hmm, in our race. So it was like, I always considered myself an emotionally strong person. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like, you know what, I'm emotionally strong. Mm-hmm. I you know, depression for who? Depression for what? Me. Mm-hmm. So now I actually realize, everything that I'm doing is basically a defense mechanism mm-hmm, from my childhood traumas. Mm-hmm. So in a way, you never really know because you kept denying, until it gets to a physical aspect. You know, you're losing weight. Yeah. No, you can't focus in certain areas. No, you actually have suicidal thoughts. You self-destructive. So it tends to get more physical than emotional, because when it's just emotional, you tend to like, you know, I'll get over it. It's just a sad day. And you know, sometimes you just actually really going through the depression.
Oh, okay. So now, going outside of university, looking at it in a broader context, what causes now mental health? What can you like say with it? Okay, it has to be, or it has to start from one or two people. Okay.
You know, crowds. I would say this: you will have friends, your family. It's never just a solo thing. It never starts with you. It's always, for instance, let me say you're gonna be mentally unwell with your physical appearance. You're not gonna be secure with your physical appearance. It starts with someone telling you, Uti, oh, you're ugly. It starts with someone telling you, Uti, oh, you're so beautiful for a fat girl. You know, that backhanded compliments, it makes you, am I not supposed to be beautiful? It makes you question. And the one thing about what people say is that we may think it doesn't get to us, but the moment you're alone, you just think back, oh, this person said this.
Yeah.
You know, it stays. And then someone else comes in and says something to you. And you just get so, you know, and with the context of success, it gets to a point where, let's say you see your peers have jobs, they have cars, they're getting paid well, you know, they're succeeding in life, and you're still trying, you're still low, and then you get your mom or your dad saying, look at who and who, they're making it out of life, what are you doing? You're trying on your own, but that builds up to you. It messes up your confidence, it messes up your drive and everything, and your mental health. You know, it gets to you. So it's the community that you're in. It's the surroundings that you are in that actually cause you to have mentally. You have to have mental health issues.
The society, how
The
we are.
society.
Yeah, it's funny because in all the episodes that I've shot rather so far, society always comes up. Society always comes up. What is a good society? What's wrong with society?
You know, we're opinionated. You know, sometimes you just have to keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, they say be nice.
So don't you think like it's basic human nature to be opinionated?
It is basic human nature to be opinionated.
It's like it goes back to where we don't really know now where the problem is, doesn't it?
It's when your opinion is not needed.
It's like know when to share.
Know when to just keep it to yourself. You're always gonna have opinions, whether you disagree with something, whether you agree with it, whether you dislike it, whether you like it. But if it's not your life, if it doesn't affect you, you should just learn to just keep it to yourself. You know, and be nice. Yeah, and compliment goes a long way.
Yeah.
Actually, hey, you're beautiful today.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you? Are you good?
Yeah.
How, you know, just be nice.
So besides yourself, say your friend is going through something and like, or my friend rather is going through something and I am worried about my friend, how do I now approach it to him or her and say, listen, I think you might be going through 1, 2, 3, or I think maybe you might have high levels of anxiety for starters, or how do I now come to you and tell you what you are going through? Like, how do I make you aware of what you're going through?
That's difficult because I'm always going to say no.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
I'm always going to say, no, I don't have anxiety. No, I'm not going through depression. It's just, you know, it's just a phase. I'll get through it. So sometimes it's not even like just a phase. Sometimes you actually need to be diagnosed with depression for you to actually get help. So in terms of how, I think you should first look at the situation that they're going through. And if, for instance, you know their academics are, you know, charming and everything, so approach them, friend, are you okay with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? If they say, some will say, yeah, I'm okay, but you can see that they're not. Try to find resources for them to get help. For instance, you're gonna, friend, here's a tutor that can help you with maths since you're struggling with it. Try 1, 2, 3. Here are YouTube channels if you see that is also not easing to their pain. Then you can go to deeper levels like you first have to be informed about before you tell someone else, right?
What does that mean?
You first, because you can't just, for instance, if you have a cold, you go to Google, symptoms of a runny nose, symptoms of a dry cough, and then Google will tell you that you have cancer.
Yeah.
Imagine. Now you think you're going to die.
Cool.
So before you tell someone with your friend you have depression, you also need to be informed about it, so that when you approach them, you know you're going to touch on 1, 2, 3 that they're going to see, and in ways that they're going to understand. For instance, a person who believes in actions, you can't tell them in words, friends, you have depression, you need help. They need to see in action that they actually do need help. And also at some point you also need to realize that you cannot help someone who doesn't want to need help. As much as you can force them, you can, if they themselves don't see that they actually need the help, no matter how hard you try, they're always going to fall back into their habits. They're always going to fall back into their mentally unhealthy place. You know, so in that situation, just you yourself, before you approach someone else and tell them you have 1, 2, 3, be informed and try to find ways that before you say it out loud, just try and help them without them knowing. Because you know, sometimes you just need to divert from what is actually, you know, actually the problem.
Okay, interesting. So with depression, or rather let me say with mental health illness, now at the moment, people who are in the public eye, now we're speaking from what we see, right? Because people who are not so popular, we don't really know about them. But now seeing people who are popular, famous, and now most of them are men who are going through mental health issues, which led them now to killing themselves. What do you think about that whole scenario of men not being able to talk about whether they're going through depression, anxiety, or whatever else that they may be going through? Like, what do you think? How do you think we can now bring them closer and be like, no, it's okay, come, like, talk about it?
A man cries, he's weak. If a woman cries, she's going through something.
Yes, that's basically what I mean.
Yeah.
What do you think about the whole thing?
Whew. Funny, because I'm actually going through the same situation with someone. So in most cases, men say they're not heard. So it's like when someone needs something, I'm always there. But when I need someone to be there for me, there's no one. That's not exactly true. In a way, it's just sometimes the people that they want to hear them are not listening. You know, it's like in most cases, where for instance, where you were the only man in a household, and your mom taught you to be strong. You never had to show weakness. You had to provide. You had to, everything. So you actually you're not even supposed to go through something. You know, what are you going through something for? You're a man up. So it's that mentality. They don't know how to express themselves. They themselves tell them, you know what? No one is going to listen. And there are people who are willing to listen. It's just not the people that they want to listen. And in some cases, they have that mentality in them. Bro, I'm here to listen to what you say. Doesn't necessarily mean, I'm going to change your whole life situation, but I might be able to help you. Just come out. They don't have that courage. Because sometimes, as I said, the society as well does play a very huge role in that. Because you can come out to one person and they're like, and then you're going to be scared to come out to the next. You're going to be scared to talk to the next person. So in that sense, I feel like men themselves should find people that are going to listen to them, people that are going to take them seriously, and stop seeking with, I want who and who to listen to me. Because sometimes it's not even just about the situation itself. Okay, for instance, it's not just about the mental illness, the mental health. it does not necessarily mean actions or whatever episode that you're going through. Sometimes you just need to voice it out, and you'll be fine. The moment it's out there, you say, you know what, I'm going through 1, 2, 3, then you're gonna feel calm. Like your perspective is gonna be focused because you voiced it out. You heard yourself. Someone heard you. Not necessarily that they're gonna give you advice or whatever, but the mere fact that they were listening. So in a sense, they themselves, it starts with them. They need to know that there are people who are going to listen, not necessarily the people that they want them to listen, but there is always someone out there that's going to listen to what you have to say. There is someone out there, even if it's just another man. Because men don't believe that they should discuss problems with one another. It's like, then that's like a girl thing. That's a woman thing. We don't talk about feelings. Just talk it with whoever that is going to listen.
So now I'm speaking in terms of both and females. So do you think it's as simple as waking up in the morning, realizing that today I'm not okay, and acknowledging the fact that I'm not okay? Like just waking up in the morning and feeling down.
No, that's advanced.
It's advanced.
That's advanced.
In what sense?
You start somewhere, isn't it? Like it has.
So that's like a higher level.
That's when you actually have gone through it and and someone has, for instance, if you're going for counseling, and then your counselor is going to tell you, you have to acknowledge your feelings, you have to feel them, you have to go through them. Then you're going to know when you wake up on a day, okay, you know what, I am not feeling well. This is what I do when I don't feel well. It's like when you know how to handle your situations. This is what I do when I'm angry. This is what I do when I am stressed out. So that's more advanced. For a person who's still a minor and they don't know, you might go through it for months, not knowing. You're just gonna be like, I hate life. I hate life. It's a bad day, life hates me. It's always going to be that because you don't know it. You're first experiencing it and you don't know how to deal with it. It's not easy. Mental health is not easy, especially when you naturally get defensive in most cases. So it's difficult for you to actually acknowledge that you're going through something. You're just gonna it's gonna be a bad day. I'm gonna slip it through. To a point where we say fake it till you make it. You're gonna go outside and fake a smile and then come back and wail in. Do the same routine until it actually gets destructive to you. Then you realize, no, I'm not actually okay. So to a point, it's not easy as just waking up in the morning. It's a long process. It's an extremely long process, especially when you don't have the right support, especially when you don't have the right knowledge. Even if you're knowledgeable, but support is important.
Okay, so you were speaking earlier about it's not only me realizing that I'm going through something that I see that I have a mental illness, but some people actually get diagnosed. And at some point you are given antidepressants and so there is a whole rumor that antidepressants, they make you feel worse, they depress you even more. Like, please, can you just clarify or rather tell us what you think in your experience and in your research about how antidepressants help people who are going through depression or other mental illnesses?
Antidepressants get addictive. Stop there. Firstly, if they're not prescribed to you by a doctor who has examined you, and you just take them out of your own knowledge, or the doctor tells you you're supposed to take them for this period of time while you're working on yourself. Firstly, you do not work on yourself, you just take the antidepressants as if they are ARVs. They're not ARVs. They're not gonna deal with your emotional problems. They're just gonna make you less active and you're not gonna act on them. Especially to self-destructive people. So they get addictive to a point if you do not stop taking them. They don't, I wouldn't say they make you worse, but you are going to think that the antidepressants are a solution to everything when they are not, and you're gonna stop seeking solutions for your problems, and they're gonna pile up. They're gonna your emotional problems, your mental issues, they're gonna pile up to a point where now you just have this stack that you don't know what you're gonna do with it. And to that point, people say antidepressants make it worse. They do not. They just make you think, especially if you are addicted to them. They're like painkillers. If you're addicted to painkillers, if you didn't take Panadol, you're gonna have a headache. Mentally, you're gonna have a headache. You just need to stop. So you just take them to a certain period of time, then you just stop while you dealing with your problems, because they don't take away your problems.
Alright, so we are at the last question. Well, I don't know, not a question per se, but like I'll ask you to, this is the point where I'll ask you to like any last words, or what advice would you give to someone out there who's watching right now, and whether you're aware of yourself or not aware, like, what would you say to
Firstly, I just like to say, fake it till you make it. That's the first one. It's not always the best thing that you can do for yourself, but fake it till you make it. But don't fake it in a point of ignorance. Fake it with, I know I'm not okay, but I will be okay. And secondly, speak to yourself. It helps. Speak to yourself, listen to yourself. Even when people think you're crazy, because sometimes people don't listen, and when they do listen, it's to give opinion, which is not what you need. You just need someone who's going to listen to you or whatever. So speak to yourself, listen to yourself. If you have to write it down, write it down. If you have to find some way to actually get whatever you're feeling out there, find some way to get whatever you are going through, whatever you're thinking out there. Doesn't necessarily mean that someone or a person has to hear you. And you might never know. Maybe there is someone that's going to hear you. But just,
Okay, thank you for coming. Thank you for
having
offering
me.
Yourself to speak about the specific topic. I hope at least one or two people will learn from this and take away something positive from it.
Yeah. We all go through something.
Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.